am knowledgeable, resilient, and excellent. I am a fountain of value and an ardent problem solver. I am a voracious learner, so nothing is difficult for me to master. I am a doer with a genius intellect. I am a CyberGirl! Who are we? Who are we? Who are we? Launching CyberSafe Foundation! Launching CyberGirls!
Okay, good afternoon, my time on this beautiful day. I am so excited to welcome you to yet another exciting edition in this series called A Day in the Life. And today we are having a day in the life of a information security auditor or of an information security auditor. And I am so excited about our guest for today. But before we go into and delve into this program fully, I want to first and foremost introduce myself and say what a pleasure and a privilege it is to be hosting another session. My name is Confidence Stavely, and this event is proudly hosted by CyberSafe Foundation. And CyberSafe Foundation is Africa's leading non-governmental organization in the digital development domain. We are on a mission to facilitate pockets of change that ensure inclusive and safe digital access across Africa. And CyberGirls Fellowship, which we're currently seeing, is one of our initiatives. And CyberGirls is literally equipping girls in underserved communities with globally sought after cybersecurity skills. And this event is one of our events where we are sort of taking the girls to see give the girls a peek into the day-to-day lives of information security professionals, and it's just a way that it guides them to what path they can pick and what path is suited for them. A lot of our girls have been going through intensive training for the past 3 months and a half, and very soon they will have to pick one path in information security to specialize in, and that's what these sessions are supposed to do, to guide them through our 7 paths we're offering the girls, and generally to benefit anyone joining us from across the world to get a better view of these different domains in cybersecurity. And so, saying that, I want to welcome our people joining us from YouTube, people joining us from LinkedIn that are not part of CyberGirls but are benefiting from this. Please, let's give everyone joining us a round of applause and say welcome for joining us. Welcome, 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 welcome. What's happening to the CyberGirls chair? Welcome, everyone. Awesome. So, since we finished rambling about what CyberGirls and what CyberSafe Foundation is about, I mean, I'm itching to introduce our guest for today, who is literally the title of this event, A Day in the Life of an Information Security and Information Systems Auditor with Veronica Rhodes. Now, who is Veronica? Who is Veronica? I mean, she has a long bio that's very, very interesting, and I'm just really quickly going to introduce you to who this person is. She is a top-rated information systems auditor who translates IT-related risk into business issues. She's also a director. She's also a director in the ISACA board of directors, and she's been serving since this year, and her service year run into next year. She's an advocacy director at the ISACA Kenya chapter, and she's a topic leader at One in Tech, an ISACA foundation since 2020. She's also she leads tech advocate and ambassador. She's an award-winning cybersecurity professional. She's a CISA mentor. You're going to get to know what CISA means. I'm just going to tell us. She is an author. She's published the book Being. She spoke about being at our orientation, and it was such a huge blessing to even me. I read the book and whoo! It's so dope. She's an international speaker, a remarkable woman moving cybersecurity in Africa with experience in working in the financial services industry. She has a vast experience in advocacy matters, industry relations, global partnerships and linkages, and directorship. She has served as a keynote speaker on a number of global events and conferences. She shares technical knowledge through articles and offers free online publications that focus on technology, cybersecurity, IT audit, data privacy, the InfoSec community, and the influence that all this has on everyday lives as businesses, individuals, and society that we live in. Please, let's make welcome in CyberGirls, Joy and pizzazz and whatever it is you want to call it. Let's welcome Veronica Rose. Welcome, Veronica. It's such an exciting time to see you. I'm sure I'm just scrolling down comments from LinkedIn. See, people are joining us from different parts to just be part of this particular event. Someone, I think this person joining us from India, and she's already speaking about her. So we are privileged to have her join us, and she's the best person to put us through on what an information system auditor and what their lives look like. She's a big madam now, but she can tell you about starting off. Okay, Veronica, I know that I've spoken so much, but welcome from me to you as well.
Wow. I'm so humbled. I'm really humbled. And thank you so much, Confidence, for giving me an opportunity to speak to the CyberGirls today. And I'm so happy that I'm speaking to you again. I'd also like to thank the guys who are logging in who are watching us through LinkedIn and YouTube. Thank you so much. In Kenya, we say Asante ni sana. So I'm privileged to speak to you today. Thank you so much.
So when we end this session, we are going to actually end it with Asante Sesana. Or is that what you said? Can you put this word again?
Yes.
Please say it again so we can really pick it up.
Asante sana.
Oh, Asante Sana. That's very easy.
Yes.
So when we are ending the session, I'm going to say Asante Sana. So when you get to Kenya, you will not be lost now, and there's going to be at least one thing that we all know: Asante Sana. When I lived in the UAE, we used to say, "Oh my God, what was thank you said? Shukran, good. How can I forget Shukran?" So you say Shukran when you want to say thank you, good. So yes, it's good to learn another language. Asante Sana, great. Okay, so we're going to delve into the session today. And I have loads of questions for you, but I'm also sure that all these people with their smiling faces, they have questions for you as well. So I'm going to ask that if you have questions for our guest, you can use the private chat or the public chat, and we are going to answer your question. I'm going to take the question and ask her. Veronica has, quite an audience, and people are joining us from Kenya and from India. We want to say thank you for everyone joining us from across the world on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So without further ado, I'm going to be delving into all of the questions, myriad of questions I asked for you. So my first question is, it is amazing, being a leader with all the titles and experiences you've gathered. But when you were much younger, like, a lot of the CyberGirls fellows are, within the age of 15 and 21, what did you want to be? And can you please walk us through your career journey, where the challenges were along the way, and just share with us?
Thank you, Confidence. So starting, I never knew that I would be an auditor. This is something that just came in later on in life. I actually wanted to be a fine artist. Whoever has read my book, I think, has read my story. I really loved art and thought I would go through that path. And even while studying, I always liked graphics design and things related to that. But later on, I pursued a degree in computer science, and then later pursued another master's degree in information systems, Master of Science in Information Systems. And from there, I became curious. I was like, we have people who go for MBA and they then do the CPAs and they become certified. How do I certify my master's in information systems? So I went to the website, started searching, and then I'm like, I want to be certified in information systems. And that's how I landed to the ISACA website. And then I saw the CISA certification. CISA stands for Certified Information Systems Auditor. And that's how I engaged into the audit world. Like the CISA certification introduced me to the audit world. Thank you. You there?
Yes, I'm so sorry. I just had issues switching back. Thank you so much for that very short, very well put together answer. So my next question is, you mentioned about information systems auditor and you're getting a CISA, but who really is an information systems auditor and what does this role entail What are your day-to-day tasks? And just thinking about it, say I don't have a master's, I don't have, a degree, how can I, come in? Can I take a CISA exam? What can I do, to get into this particular path?
Oh, yeah. Good question. And to start with is that I'd like to mention that auditors are human beings. They breathe oxygen. So I've answered your question. Sorry, that was a nice Rebecca. All right. All right. Let me first of all pose a question to CyberGirls. When you hear of the word auditor, what comes into your mind? Just mention to me one word that comes into your mind when you hear of the word auditor. Let's have like 2 responses at least.
Please just use the comment box either on YouTube or on here and just tell us what comes to mind. You can use the comment section, I think the public comment section, so I can show you here. What comes to mind when you hear the word auditor? Let's go, girls, really quickly. What comes to your mind? Da, 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 da. Okay, logs. Somebody said logs. That's what comes to mind.
Another one?
No, you hear auditor.
Yes, what comes into your mind?
Okay, I think more comments are coming in very soon. Please, girls, quickly. Some people are struggling to type, so we'll just give them a few more seconds, and we'll just show their responses. We have one coming from Erere. Erere is in our Enugu hub. There are some of them that these are the hub that can come in the hub physically. So this is another response. Finance. That's what comes into mind when you hear the word auditor. Audits. That's what comes to mind when Onone hears the word.
All right.
Another one.
That's good enough for us. So I would like you to pick for me 3 names of the people who gave us the responses. Then
Okay.
I'll send them free copies of my ebook. So
Yay! So I would say the first 3 we sent Erere, Adado, and Onone.
Yeah. So they'll have copies of my ebook sent to them. Yeah.
Sorry, there were other people. You know what? We're going to sort this out back end. But the other people were sending it on the private chat. We had accounting, we had cross-checking and verifying. We had an auditor is a person that reviews and verifies accurate records, reveal and verify. You know what? We are going to sort this out later.
All right, I leave that up to you. So but we have 3 winners of my book.
Thank you.
So before I say what I would say who an auditor is, I'd like I don't know if someone has read in the Bible the story of Thomas. That is in the chapter of John. I'm not trying to preach, but I would like us to really understand my profession, where it comes from, and everything related. So if you've read John 20 verses 24, I'm sure around there, you must have heard of a story of Thomas, that doubting Thomas. And I'm sure Thomas was a certified auditor. Just a nice breaker. So auditors are those who are always skeptic. Like they really need to know the root cause of things. They really want to believe something by seeing. I'm trying to define this in a layman's language. So if you've not read about doubting Thomas, go to the Bible, look for John 20 and read about doubting Thomas. I think he was a certified auditor. All right. So let's now understand what audit is all about. So we have types of audits. We have internal audits, and also we have external audits. So if I say I'm an internal auditor, that means I'm part of the organization where I audit. I'm part of the team that does the fixing of things inside the organization, but I have to maintain my independence. And if I say that I'm an external auditor, means either I work for an audit firm and we go out to audit other entities. Feel free to ask questions while I speak, and confidence, feel free to shoot in questions as I go so that we go along together. So we have different types of audits. We have information systems audits. Myself, I'm an information systems auditor. We have operation audits. We have compliance audits. We have finance audits. We have quite a number of audits. So uh, now, how do you become an IS auditor? I'll share my story. Like I mentioned, I first of all went for my degree in computer science and then a master's degree in information systems. And later, I prepared for my exam. I've written blogs about how I prepared and passed my exam to become CISA certified. So, CISA stands for Certified Information Systems Auditor. And this is a certification that is offered by ISACA. So when you go to the ISACA website, you'll be able to see what the CISA designation entails. But I did the exam and passed, and then I became certified. I applied to become CISA certified. So you don't just become certified right away. You have to meet a certain criteria for you to be certified. So the first step is passing the exam. The second step is meeting the criteria. Probably 5 years experience, but for me, it was so easy because I already had 3 years experience in IT, and also I had a master's degree. So it was easy for me to get certified easily. And then later I submitted my CISA certification application, and then I got certified. So that is more on how you can become an information systems auditor. The certification will help you to become, it will prove that you're credible for the role that you are going to play as an auditor in the information systems world. So basically, that is how you can become an auditor. But what I do in my role depends, I'll say what auditors do in different organizations depends on the size of the organization, the industry demands, and the size of the audit department. So before I even mention what I do on a daily basis, there are some keywords you'll always hear when you talk about audit, auditing, and the audit profession. You will hear words like audit, we've defined audit. You'll hear words like assurance. You'll hear words like advisory and then compliance. But what do we mean when we say audit? Audit came it's a word, it came from a Latin word, and audits before used to be oral. Like audit is more about listening or hearing. So before audits used to be oral, not the way they are today. But currently, if someone asks you what audit means, audit is more of an inspection or an evaluation of either an individual. You've heard of lifestyle audits of individuals, or evaluation of an entity. So when you also hear of the word assurance when it comes to audit, here you're trying to provide assurance, specializing in assessing and helping management to make informed decisions from the audits. So meaning that audit is always the first step before assurance comes in. But we are moving so much away as auditors from auditing to advisory. Why? Because our clients need training, need to understand what audit is all about. Audit is more about reviews, getting involved in the system development reviews, performance, control self-assessments, mentoring of others as well. So we are moving away from just performing audits to providing advisory services to audit clients. So if you hear me mention the word audit client, I mean the people we audit. So we used to call them auditees, but currently we call them audit clients. So when you hear me say audit client, just know I'm talking about the people we do audit. So some of the roles that I do, there are quite a number. I'll not mention all of them. Like I mentioned, it depends on the size of your organization, the size of your department, and also what the industry requires. So part of the things I do, I develop audit plans. Uh, Audit plans, there are always annual audit plans, but we break them down into quarterly plans, and they're also subject to review. We can review them dependent on need basis. And Another thing I basically do in my daily works, I always review weaknesses and control gaps. Not let me mention this: audit is not all about finding faults. I was expecting in the chats to hear something when I asked you to define what comes into your mind, to hear that when you hear of the word audit, you hear police. Such things.
That
Yeah,
would have
but
been my own. That would have been my own contribution.
yeah. So auditors, like I mentioned, they are human beings like us. They are good people. They are humble people, by the way. So audit is not all about finding faults. We are always finding facts and then using those facts to enable business units improve on the processes that where we have identified weaknesses. But it's not all about all the time at I'm pinning you down, I'm doing this so that I show that you're not doing your job. No, audit is about finding facts, not faults. So another thing I also do, I carry out risk assessments and also facilitate line managers when they are trying to do control self-assessment. So I facilitate the process. I also review IT general controls. We call them ITGCs, to ensure effectiveness of security controls, to ensure compliance with regulations, because as an auditor, you have to really understand the regulations concerning the industry that you work in. You have to understand what does the law require a particular industry, a bank, another institution, what does the law require them to comply with? So you have to understand also the standards in that industry, and so that when you're doing your audits, you align your findings, your recommendations according to the industry best practices. And also in my role, I'm always looking at systems to ensure that they are configured correctly, firewall rules set correctly, are logs even logged? Because sometimes people are logging things and they are not logged. They are not. They're not backed up. Do we back up our systems? How often are we doing it in the right way? All those things. Do we authorize access to particular systems? How many people have rights to this system? Why do they have these rights? Do they need these rights? Those are some of the areas that I always check on when I'm reviewing controls. And also at the end of the audit, dependent on the timelines that I've agreed on with the audit clients, I always do a follow-up, because it doesn't make sense to you to do an audit and then you leave it at that. You have to do a follow-up to ensure that, yes, the recommended mitigation strategy that I propose, sometimes you find that mitigation was not implemented, but there was an alternative that addressed the risk. So you don't have to fight with your audit clients and say,
Veronica, can everybody hear me? Okay, so I think it's our guest internet that is acting up. Uh-oh. Oh. Uh-oh.
recommended this. Why did you know? Sometimes.
Hi, Veronica.
Can anyone hear me?
We lost you about 2 minutes ago. Uh-oh, it's gone again. Oh.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
All right. So let me conclude on this. So I was saying that my role also entails mentoring people because as you carry out audit interviews, your audit clients, sometimes you have to be in their shoes to understand exactly their point of view. So as they share with you their point of view, you're in position to guide them on how to best improve on their activities. And also I coordinate and also work with the external auditors, because I work as an internal auditor, but also my role entails collaborating with the external auditors to ensure that they are well facilitated at their performing their tasks when they are auditing our organization. So those are some of the few roles that I do. I'll not say that I move mountains, no. But those are some of the roles that I
The things you do. That's really exciting. So I'm just going to move on to the next question. I think you already touched on what the process, or but me, I should just ask explicitly, what's the process for performing audits? You can walk us through and share about any standard steps, process, methodology, approach, or frameworks you follow.
All right. Thank you. So I would like to mention that audit is done in phases. So we have the planning phase, and planning is very key. We have the fieldwork phase, we have the reporting phase, and also the follow-up phase and the close-up. So when you miss out in the planning phase, you've really missed out the entire project. So you have to be keen on what you are planning and other activities that you're going to carry about. So can you hear me?
You cannot ask questions. That's what I'm trying to do.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So we do, we have to follow the planning phases. And when we are doing we carry out the planning of the audits. During the planning phase, we do develop the audit programs. So here there are activities like sending memos or audit notifications to the audit clients, having several meetings like the audit entry meetings with clients, initial meetings on how to define the scope of the audit, to define the objectives of the audit, assign responsibilities on the key personnel, on how or whom you're going to interact with when you're doing the audit, seeking clarity on some areas,
Omar, I think the internet is messing up again.
business processes, and also gaining agreement on the task. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, you can.
All right. So when you're done with developing the plan and the activities involved there, you will go ahead and request for documentation from your audit clients. And by the way, I have to warn you, if you want to succeed in audit, you have to be a reader. Like, you have to be enjoying to read, because you're going to review quite a number of documents. These include contracts, they include service level agreements, non-disclosure agreements. You're going to review terms and conditions of different applications. You are literally going to review a lot of documents, manuals, user guides, standards. Confidence has mentioned about standards. Yes, any audit, of course, you have to reference it to a particular standard. So you should be able to read and then interpret that standard, not just reading, but be able to analyze and understand. And then if you're referencing a certain standard, ensure it is applicable to your environment or your company, because it does not make sense for you to use maybe ISO 27001 when you when you're auditing maybe marketing or sales.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it has to be aligned with what you are reviewing. Yeah, so during the field work, that is mostly what we do. We review documentation, we gather information, and then from that information, that is where we carry out a gap analysis.
Okay.
So from that analysis is when you understand. Let me give an example. Like this time, the COVID-19, the COVID the COVID situation has really brought in disruptions. So you'll find that there are some policies that used to work then that are not relevant now. There are controls that used to be relevant then, but they're not working now. For example, right now you have to propose, if your staff are working from home, you'll propose a take our own device at home, vis-a-vis bring your own device at work. So when you're reviewing such policies, if you see a policy that is no longer relevant, you can relax the policy. You can do away with the policy and recommend a policy that is current, that will address the issue at hand. It's not just a matter of having policies that they're nice to have. They should be addressing a certain risk or a certain problem or easing a certain process. So we do a number of things in audits, but I would like to mention that audits are deadline and output driven. So don't just do an audit for the sake. That's why the planning phase is very key. Define the scope and the objectives, and then work around the timelines to ensure that you achieve what you had planned. So, also, my audit job requires traveling outside of Kenya because the corporation I work for has other subsidiaries. So, in audit, especially people who do external audits, you'll be enjoying traveling outside of your locations because you have to go meet clients from different areas. So those are some of the beautiful things about audit. If you're trying to get into the profession. So afterwards, after the engagement, you have to issue an audit report. You first of all issue a preliminary report where you will have to ask managers to give responses on the findings. And also, when you issue that report, uh, expect that there are findings that may not be valid. So you have to sit with the manager and understand their point of view and also give facts. I mentioned not faults, facts, to agree on a finding at the end of the day so that you gain an agreement on a certain finding and then define together the mitigation strategies on how you are going to implement a control and how you are going to mitigate the risk. So it is always good to have an agreement with the manager or the person responsible before issuing a final report. It does not make sense for you to issue a report that is going to be disputed. So it is good to involve the managers all through when you're carrying out your audits. So
I mean, that's so important. You're going to
yeah,
say
so
something.
yeah. So the you mentioned of the standards. So most of the times when we are doing systems audits, we refer to frameworks like the COVID 2019 framework. You can check it out on the ISACA website. We refer to the NIST framework. We refer to the ISO standards, but dependent on the business process that you are reviewing. Not all standards apply to every business process or every business. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. We're sort of running out of time, so we'll just really take the other questions really quickly. So a question I have here is, as someone in this context, a CyberGirls fellow who is just kickstarting my career in cybersecurity, how would I know if the audits, the IT audit career path is a great fit for me?
Number one is you have to be self-aware because, like I mentioned, if you're the kind of person who does not like reading a lot, please don't consider audit as your gig. Consider it, first of all, carry out a self-awareness assessment. What do I enjoy? Does audit interest me? How do I collaborate with other people? Do I have negotiation skills? Do I have presentation skills? Well, presentation skills, you learn them along the way because you have to develop their confidence along the way. But first of all, understand, does this job or this role excite me? From what I've mentioned that I do, I said I don't move mountains, but does it interest you? If it doesn't, then please just look for something else. But audit, like I mentioned, is a very interesting field because, to be honest with you, I really enjoy audit because audit is very dynamic. I'm exposed to so many areas in the business environment. I can tell you things in marketing. I can tell you things in software development. I can tell you things in TV. I can tell you things like it has exposed me to various areas of the business. So it's a very flexible and very dynamic role. And then it also provides you with the tremendous opportunity of learning about controls in different areas, and also it's a remarkable career path. Let me say this in a small voice. It's a secret to you guys. It's a remarkable career to get you to a C-suite. Thank me later for that. So, so the fact that, because dependent on your reporting lines, you'll find that auditors in different organizations report directly to the board. Do you know what it feels like to report directly to the board? The confidence you're getting, the exposure you're getting, the knowledge, it's just a remarkable path for you to get to the top quick enough. So you have to like what you do. You have to be patient, because as an auditor, you have to be understanding. You have to be open-minded. Be ready to learn as much as you can. Because even before an audit engagement, you have to do research, you have to do your homework. Just imagine going to audit a system that you have no idea about. Just today, you don't know an idea of a system, but you have to audit it and issue a report. How do you start? Meaning you'll have to do your homework, you'll have to read, you'll have to research, you have to understand controls, you'll have to interact with people who work with the system to let you know the type of controls, the processes on how the system works for you, and to be able to audit it. So you also have to have good report writing skills, because it will not make sense for you to write something that I don't understand and I'm the line manager who's supposed to respond to you. So you have to write something in layman's language that I really understand, and I'll give you a response. So be agile, time management, have a very good work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait to be told to do something. Do it. Right now, we work remotely. No one is supervising you, but they expect results. Are you a last minute person, or you're a person who does their work and then relax? So have a very good work etiquette, and then also communication skills. Here, I'll talk about how you write your emails, not only just in talking, but how do you even address people when you're writing an email? Do you just say, "What's up?" or, do you put emojis, on email kind of thing? Email etiquette. The way you write a WhatsApp message, let there be some bit of difference on how you write an email. There are quite a number of skills that you need for you to excel, but be aware of yourself. Understand if audit excites you, if it is something that you like. If it's not something that you like, there are quite a number of roles in the information security world that you can explore. But I have to assure you, audit is a very interesting field. From audit, you're able to interact with people from various business units, and you're knowledgeable because you're an advisor, you're a consultant, because you have the knowledge about what they do. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that very insightful answer to that question. And just following up that very quickly, what is the most challenging and intriguing project or experience that you have had in your career as an information systems auditor? And what did you learn?
Wow. I must be honest, I've really made a lot of mistakes in my career. And but I ask questions most of the time now, and I do also do follow-up questions. One of the things I've ever done, I've ever gone for field work, gathered the audit findings, and then I never involved the line manager then. So
Wow.
I went ahead and issued the report, and then what happens next? All my findings are disputed, and then I have to travel back to go and redo the work. So that was a very big lesson learned. That
Not
was a very
funny.
big, yeah, it was a very big lesson learned. So I had to ask questions There's no stupid question. Always ask questions. You will avoid making stupid mistakes. So that is something I learned along the way. But I've also made other mistakes, but I don't dwell so much on them. I have to just learn, what is this teaching me? How can I do better? And then
Exactly.
I do my best. Thank you.
Ah, that's so profound. I'm just going to follow that up really quickly with what are the skills required to break into this field and excel while in the field. I think you've touched on it, but maybe you want to share something you forgot adding in that part. And are there job opportunities?
Oh yeah, thank you. Job opportunities are there because we have few CISAs in organizations, and so if you're looking forward to getting into IS audit, yeah, you're on the right path. So I've mentioned some of the skills that you require, but I've also mentioned actually how you get into becoming CISA certified. You can start by getting certified. Look for a certification. And in this case, myself, I recommend CISA because the CISA certification introduced me to the systems audit profession. So go do a certification, pass the exam, apply for certification, and then get certified. From there, you're going to be credible and you'll be a subject matter expert on what you are even talking about or what you're reviewing. Because current employers, when they advertise for information systems jobs or information systems audit jobs, one of the requirements is that you should have a CISA certification. So if you don't have it, your chances of landing the job may be less. So what I would recommend is get certified and get the necessary training you require. Also, join professional bodies wherever you are. There are quite a number of professional bodies that offer courses, trainings, or maybe you attend conferences where they share knowledge about audit. There you'll be able to get the knowledge that you require to excel as an information systems auditor. Be open minded and learn as much as you can. Be analytical. Don't just read things on the surface. The devil is always in the detail.
Yeah.
How many of us read terms and conditions when we are signing up for applications or anything? Very few. But as auditors, we are supposed to really review exactly what is in the detail, not what I see, but what is in the detail and what do I understand from the details, not just reading. Yeah.
That's excellent. So I'm going to jump in and to ask you really quick questions in quick succession since we've run out of time. Maybe just a minute to attempt each of every one of them since we really want to touch on everything. So my next question is: if someone here was to start out in a role as an information systems auditor, what are the other infosec roles and paths they can pivot their career to after some years?
All right. Thank you. So I'll give an example of myself. Before I became an information systems auditor, I first of all served as an IT support officer, and then I became a systems administrator, and then I served as an IT consultant, and then I also served, I call myself a slasher because I have so many titles. So I also served as an information security analyst. So
Okay.
you can see my path, right? I've come from different levels. You can be in InfoSec, still you can become an IT auditor. You can, if you have a degree in computer science or any other degree in IT, that is key because for you to excel in IT audit, you must understand the concepts of networking, database management. You have to understand the concepts around systems administration. How are these controls configured? how our APIs are configured. You have to understand at least the basics of IT for you to excel. So try to ensure that you have a solid background in IT. If you don't have, you can still learn. So it's not too late if you really want to join. But try to ensure that you have knowledge of IT concepts. That is the best way you are going to excel in IT audit. Because just to give an example, you're going to audit someone and you don't understand what you're going to audit. How does that feel like? Yes. So try to ensure that you have knowledge in IT concepts, networking, systems administration, change management, um, database administration, software development, cybersecurity. Have knowledge in those areas. They'll be very essential and key for you when you're performing your IS audit roles. One thing I've forgotten to mention is data privacy. It is something that is heavy now. So please, auditors, ensure you have knowledge in data privacy. Yes, and
I mean
protection.
that's very very key. Another key thing I want to ask here as a question is, what's next for you in your career? What's exciting for you right now? What do you look forward to?
Wow, I'm a big dreamer. Like I always say, I have stubborn dreams. So one of the things I'm aspiring for outside of my work, I'm an aspiring marathoner. So we see how crazy that is. But but I'm a big dreamer. So currently I'm more reinventing my career because apparently I'm a director. I'm also an author and still writing, and I think I'll write forever. I'm an auditor and hoping to go beyond what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. I can't even say that the sky is the limit. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's no limitation
That's
for
the
me.
starting point.
Yeah. It's a starting point. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so
Yes.
I just want to really throw in there that what advice would you give our young CyberGirl fellows and maybe people that are enthusiasts joining us across and admiring your the way you're talking about audits, these people that are young and wish to, come into this field. What do you wish you knew earlier before you started your career that you think they can benefit from knowing now?
Um, just one thing, not even technical, but I wish I knew the value of mentorship then. That would have been a very big impact to me. Though no regrets now. But I wish I knew the value of mentorship. I think it would have been something so huge for me because I started out with trial and error, fall and rise kind of thing. But if I knew the value of mentorship or I knew about how structured mentorship is all about, I would have shoot. So
Exactly. I mean, I totally agree with you on that. Mentorship plays a very big role in bootstrapping careers.
yeah,
Okay, but
that's true.
the last question from me, and this question is actually really random. Before I start asking the questions people have sent in. Is
Yes.
what is the one thing? This is an unconventional question, but what is the one thing people don't know about you? You want to know?
Oh my goodness. Wow. You're making me become vulnerable
If
on
you ask me that question, right, the answer will be ridiculous. So you have to really answer it.
all right.
Just give us the answer that is not scandalous.
I think two things people don't know about me. I think I'm humble. Not thinking I am. I'm a humble person. And then I'm disciplined. That's the truth. If I set my mind onto something, it has to be done. So probably if someone never knew that about me, at least those two. Yeah. I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I know all of them. I've seen all of them at play in your life. I mean, the short time we've known each other.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask questions now from the audience. Do I start from? Okay, let me start from the last question, the immediate last question shared. It's on the
Yes.
screen right now, and it's saying, please do does one do what does one really need these certifications to be an information systems auditor? Can one be an information systems auditor without this certification?
Um, Thank you for the question. So I would love to say that to gain credibility and for also you to prove that you are really credible to perform a particular task, I think you need this certification because the CISA certification, if it was not for the CISA certification myself, I'm not sure if I would have transitioned into audit. Why? This certification has domains related to auditing. That's number one. It has concepts on how to audit a system. It has a domain on how to protect information assets. That is more related to cybersecurity. It has also domains on how to on system development and acquisition. It also has a domain on IT governance and IT management. And these are key areas that if you don't have knowledge about, it will be difficult for you to provide assurance, to provide advisory services to the entity or business that you're auditing if you don't have this knowledge. So you need this knowledge, and myself, I found this knowledge, or I got this knowledge through acquiring the CISA certification. Yeah, I hope I've answered his question.
Yes, you have. There's another question here that what was the most challenging thing you faced, and which phase of auditing is your favorite? From the same person.
Wow, my favorite part is report writing because I'm a writer. I enjoy writing. So anytime I'm done with field work and I'm just sitting there now to craft
Uh oh, the network is messing with us again.
me. Like I writing bit of it. And the most challenging bit mentorship. Like I earlier mentioned, I struggled a lot with the fitting in, trying to figure out things. I was trying to fit in, but not getting it. But the good thing, I had the knowledge, so I could at least refer to the ISACA resources. I could refer to the CISA job practice manual, and also read a lot. Read a lot. If you happen to notice, the most smartest person always in the room is the person who read. So if you do your homework well and read, understand concepts, master a skill, you will be the expert. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in the field, but as long as you put in the work, you do the work and read. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I just saw a comment here and it's so profound. I just needed to highlight it. Chineye Udechukwu is saying writing looks like a key skill to acquire, and I can't agree any less with you. It's a very key skill. It's not just a key skill to acquire because you want to be in information security, but let me tell you, writing is a key skill to even become a leader.
Yes.
I mean, you have written the book and you know you've been recognized for it, but she's writing many articles right now for the ISACA board. That's the certification body. She's writing articles, and that's giving her so much exposure. A lot of people know Veron, for her writing, and we get to experience her brains. The truth is that a lot of people, you're able to build personal brand. Your personal brand gets to be more prominent when you're using your writing skills. I can't say this enough. I personally write a lot on my LinkedIn. I've slowed down now. I hope I'm able to pick it up. I used to write very great articles, and my post, if you read my post as well, just my normal post, is also telling of my writing skills. So if you need to grow your writing skills, trust me, I can help you. Veronica can also help you as well. But to say the least, the writing skills will not just help you be a good cybersecurity professional, but it will also help you shine. It will help you shine. I don't know. I'm a better writer than I am a speaker. By any, in fact, a lot of people, I tell people, if you want to quarrel with me, if you
Yeah.
are if me and you are talking, you're most likely you are going to win. But if you quarrel with me writing, best believe you look foolish. You will
I
look
can
foolish
relate.
at the end of the day. Because you know what? I will compose my thoughts. I will put the right words. Trust me. So writing is a key survival skill. It's a key skill to make you shine brighter, among the stars. So I just wanted to chip that in as well. But
I
before
can
I become the
I
speaker,
can
please,
relate with you. I can
please go
relate.
ahead, Vera. Do you want to say something as well
Yeah,
there?
I can relate with you 100% that you can best argue with me in spoken, but you can't argue out. You can't argue me out in writing. Like I, I, I'm thinking for you, thinking for myself, and thinking for the audience as well as I'm writing. So writing. And also, I must say, writing introduced me to speaking because I used to write, but I used to be so shy to speak what I've written. But the minute I could just imagine, I have this knowledge. How about if I orally say it? So writing contributed to my confidence in speaking. When you write it, you know it, you understand it more. So writing is something that you may not be 100% today. What I want to say about this is avoid self-doubt. Even if you think your work is bad, it is you who thinks that it's bad, but the audience has not judged it. And even if they judge it, one person who will review it will give you feedback, honest feedback, and that feedback will help you move forward. At first, when I started writing, I was bashed that my work was bad. I never gave up. I continued writing. When you go to my LinkedIn page and check the views of my articles, you'll be shocked. People read and then give me feedback and say, "Thank you for that blog you wrote on this date. It is what helped me when I was doing my research on this. When I was auditing a core banking system, I didn't know the processes, but that blog guided me." So keep writing if you feel you have it. Keep writing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And someone just said, yeah, practice, practice, practice. So I'm going to go on to our last question from YouTube and LinkedIn, and then I'm going to go to the private comment section to see if there are questions we haven't yet addressed. The question that someone's asking here is, uh, sorry, I think I've missed it, but the person was asking about what you do on a day to day that helps build your skill. So, what is the one thing you do every day that helps you build yourself?
Wow, I do a lot of things. I do a lot of things. I've also explained about how my day goes, but probably I think this person is asking about my hobbies, if I'm not wrong. Like,
Oh, maybe the question is old, but I think they were asking about things that helps you develop your skills that maybe on a day to
oh,
day. So for
okay,
example, it might be reading a book, it might be
okay,
practicing something.
okay. All right, all right. Thank you. So I read a lot and I write a lot. So I know myself. That's why I mentioned self-awareness is key. When you know yourself, you really understand your learning curve, you learn you everything about you. So I understand best when I write. I analyze best when I write. I understand concepts
Oh, I think the internet is messing with us again.
more when I write. So that sharing what I've learned, it boosts my confidence. I learn and then share. From sharing, now I know, yes, I'm on the right track. Um, Another thing is discipline and meeting commitments. If you mention that we will have a meeting today at this time, please spare time, join in early. I always say be brilliant at the basics. Don't be taught time management, please. That is a basic. Don't be taught things that, time management. Surely, if you know you had an appointment, please join in early. And if you're unable, life happens, explain earlier, so that you don't keep someone waiting or frustrated or even cancel their own other appointments because you can't make it. So technically, just try to be brilliant at the basics. Yeah.
That's really, really profound. Then I'm not going to chime more into it, but I'm just going to say that these are some of the key things we're teaching the girls right now, and that might seem, hard, but you see, these are not things that we're doing just because we're here, but because these are things that are required in the industry for excellence.
Yeah.
You know, being punctual, explaining it, because life happens. I mean, the best of us, something could happen and you're not able to go, or you're not able to be at the place. Just let people know on time. And if you take it on as a good skill to apply for your basics, you'll be great. I'm going to quickly ask the next set of questions in quick succession. Maybe like there are going to be 2 questions each, and then 1 minute to answer them because we're really out of time now.
Okay.
So the question here is, what is the duration of in the planning phase? I mean, for your experience, and what are the strategies involved in auditing? Just give us the answer in like a minute, and then we can take our last question.
All right. Depends on your plan and the area, and then the scope of the audit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that depends on a lot of variables. That's what I understand from what you've just said. Another key thing that was asked here is, what resources do you use to stay up to date with information security trends?
All right. Thank you. I've subscribed to quite a number of newsletters. So many. I can't even start mentioning one by one. But I've subscribed to a number of newsletters. I SACA journals. I always receive journals on a quarterly basis. Other websites, there are quite a number. I may not mention names, but just look out for internal audit resources, cybersecurity resources, data privacy resources, and just filter what is suitable for you and subscribe.
And it's not just subscribing. When the emails come, read them.
Subscribing. Thank you. You just read my mind. It is not just a matter of subscribing. Kindly read. I said always, the person who is always smart sometimes in the room is the person who read. Read, and also also critique some concepts. Someone might have written something just because that is what they understood at the moment. Try to dig further. Does this concept really relate to what was written? That is when you understand better. Critique other people's work, not in a negative way, but as a way for you to understand better. Thank you.
Excellent. And you said something I'm just going to bring back again. If writing is a way of making you understand something better, then I think you should really use it, because I think it works for me as well. I write to explain to myself. For some of you, I've seen some of you do it a lot. So you sort of finish a session and then you go on LinkedIn and you write about it. It's a very good thing to do, because it just helps you sort of reprocess that thing. So I'm happy that you mentioned it. I really never was conscious about it. Actually, you know what? It actually works that way for me. I listen to something, I hear something, I learn something, and once I write, forget it. When I was in school, I used to read for exam. That's how I used to pass my exam. What I do is, when I come out of class, I'll come and reprocess whatever it is that was taught and put it in written form, and that's it. I just skim through my notes and I go and pass the exam. So, but that's literally what it could be, your own style of learning. And just if it's a style, then please maximize it. There are no more questions, but there have been amazing comments here about this session and what people are seeing in the things you're saying. And I want to say a very big thank you to you for making out time to be here with us. We still passed our time by 34 minutes. But you've been patient enough, to stick with us on this 4th edition of A Day in the Life, and we're so blessed to have you. Please, can we all unmute our mics and just say Asante Sana? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Veron. And thank you so much to everyone who has joined us from LinkedIn, from LinkedIn and from YouTube. We're seeing your comments, and we're seeing you following us and dropping your amazing comments. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us. And we've come to the end of this particular episode of A Day in the Life that has been very insightful. Thank you so much to everyone for coming, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.